Quest.
Situation right now, I can't eat, no, I can't sleep. Close my eyes, trace the shape of love, the breath of it, the way of it. My body is a dopamine battleground.
Hi, everyone. We are so excited to have you with us. Round of applause for DJ Liquid, who helped to set the mood for this wonderful celebration that we're having today. Thank you for being with us as we honor our legendary, iconic, fierce elders, of which without there would be no Black LGBTQ plus movement in the Black and the LGBTQ movements also would not be what they are today. You'll get to learn a little bit more why I say that pretty soon. But first, I want to make sure you have an opportunity to hear from our generous sponsors at AARP. I'm going to pass it on to Ms. Cassandra Burton.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me here. Welcome to this amazing event. I'm happy to be here, and with NBJC for having us as a sponsor. We have a quick message for you, so take a look.
What would you call a joy that knows no bounds? That is as solemn as it is sweet, with an outpouring of soul that connects us. Joy in resilience, joy in creativity, joy in happiness, joy in strength. What would you call a joy that knows no bounds? A joy supreme. AARP celebrates Black joy. Visit us at aarp.org/Black community.
Oh, I am so glad to be here, and I'm so grateful and honored to be able to be here to honor our foremothers in the LGBTQ movement. It's a beautiful thing to be in the midst of criminal justice advocates, economic advocates, and social justice advocates. And I hope that the work that I do at AARP and moving forward does justice to your legacy. So I'm honored that the universe has actually brought this opportunity for me to advocate for older LGBTQ adults and conduct research at AARP to help people live their lives with dignity and with respect. Since 2016, AARP has been conducting some research, and some really incredible research, like our Maintaining Dignity research, and our most recent, which is the Vital Voices LGBTQ 45 plus, and our Black LGBTQ community study. So what we have learned, just really briefly, through Maintaining Dignity and Black LGBTQ community studies, is that there is a need for cultural competencies in healthcare. We learned that, a lot of older LGBTQ folks really have a fear about entering assisted living facilities and fear that they have to go back in the closet. And then through our LGBTQ Vital Voices, we also found the detrimental impact of COVID-19 on our community, through, just everything that everybody was going through, how, of course, in our community with the intersectionalities of identities, how we are greatly impacted, and also about social isolation. 50% of our baby boomers actually said that they lived alone, and the implications for social isolation are huge, both in negative health and physical outcomes. And, we're continuing to do all types of research. So, if you're interested, definitely check out our website. We want to definitely advocate and help our community. I've heard that being Black and living authentically is a revolutionary act. And we know that there are so many people that are still living in the closet for their own safety, for protection, for a whole host of other reasons. And so I stand here today and I just thank you for your sacrifice and for blazing the trail for women like myself, for Victoria, and all the other women that are represented on this event. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Burton, for representing AARP, but also continuing to do so much work within the organization as the lead of the LGBT Employee Resource Group at AARP. It is.
Absolutely. We definitely try to do a lot of work from the inside out. And so we're honored to be here as a sponsor and to partner with NBJC, and really show up as an ally in the community, and just do great work. So thank you for having us.
No problem. So one of the things that I had to share was that I found this. I'm a hoarder. And I found this some research that Dr. Imani Woody, another incredible Black LGBTQ woman, did with AARP. I think this was from 2010, and so it's beautiful to see the continuation of your organization continuing to do work that includes our community and doesn't keep us at the fringes. My name is Victoria Kirby York, and I serve as the Deputy Executive Director of the National Black Justice Coalition. I'm incredibly excited and grateful to be able to present our elders to some of you for the first time, and many of you who love them, to give you the opportunity to share your flowers, your reflections of their leadership and impact on your life. So please feel free, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, put your own reflections and flowers in the comments. All right. We want to make sure that they have a chance to see it, but also if there's time, we want to be able to read out some of the comments as well to continue our love fest as we continue to embrace and show so much love to these rock stars. So a little bit about NBJC, and I already see you all doing it. Thank you, Joan, for sending in comments. Continue to keep them flooded. I'd love to see support just coming in all throughout the program. A little bit about NBJC. The National Black Justice Coalition was founded in 2003 as an organization dedicated to the civil rights and empowerment of Black, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, plus, and same gender loving people. We are incredibly honored to be able to do work advocating for folks every single day with agency heads, with administration officials, the White House, folks on Capitol Hill, influencers, and other people who can help to make life better for every single one of us. NBJC has also done a lot of work to continue to support others who have been doing this work for a long time. I'm very pleased to be able to honor some of the folks who not only founded our organization, but also founded the earliest versions of a national Black LGBTQ advocacy organization in this country. So without further ado, I do want to add to our final set of announcements. One is that if you're in need of closed captioning, there's a banner at the top of the screen. There you go. That will help walk you through how to do that. So I want to make sure folks know and see that as a resource to be able to do so. And also, we are creating a one-of-a-kind for this event Spotify playlist. So we want you all to think about what music, songs, artists get you thinking about legendary, iconic Black women, and place that as well in the comments, either on YouTube or on Facebook. And we are going to compile that and create a playlist for everyone's enjoyment. Awesome. So the first person that I have the honor of introducing is a shero and mentor of mine, someone who put in the work to help diversify and provide inclusion for Black people and other communities of color at the nation's largest LGBTQ rights organization, the Human Rights Campaign. Mrs. Donna Payne Hardy is someone who launched the HBCU program at HRC, but has also done a number of other incredible initiatives throughout her career to help ensure that we are represented strongly in the places where decisions are being made, and when we're not, to be a voice championing that change. So many of us, myself included, would not be able to do the work we do today, and we definitely wouldn't have as many Black executives of LGBTQ organizations as we have right now if it wasn't for the heart work and hard work of Mrs. Donna Payne Hardy. Donna, take it away to introduce our first awardee.
Morning. So I wanted to let everybody know that I'm so excited about being here today for the awardee in my lifetime, Wisdom Awardee, Mandy Carter. Now, Mandy, I've tried really hard to keep this away from you and not even mention anything. But it is such an honor to let you know how you have moved people in this lifetime and what you have done. Just starting with me, I remember seeing you working in the fields, as we would say, working in the States, in North Carolina. And then I got to see you in Georgia. And I said, you know, I want to be like Mandy Carter. How do I do this? And you sat down and talked to me, and I really, really appreciate the times that you spent, that you spent the time to talk to me, to mentor me, and give me ideas and thoughts. Even when I launched the HBCU program, you were the first person that I talked to about the idea. And you were so influencing to me about, you know, the HBCU program and starting it, that I was able, even when I fought through resistance, I said, oh no, Mandy Carter told me what it needs to look like. What I'm doing is great. So I need to just stay on it. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have that legacy. Okay? So let me just start by saying that some of the flowers that have come in since they asked me to speak and talk to you and talk about your work has been phenomenal. First of all, there is Juan Battle. You know how much I love and respect your work. Now, you know you can hear his voice. I'm just thrilled that now an even larger audience can join the chorus of praise. Now, from J.T. Turner. As a Black person who grew up in North Carolina and was out as queer from a young age, having a model in Mandy is more than just symbolic, but instructive in how I can do the work in transformative ways, even back home. Thank you for your sacrifice, leadership, and love for the community. There is one from Michael Adi. Thank you, Mandy Carter, for your inspired lifetime of advocacy, community organizing, national leadership, and activism. As someone who grew up in Louisiana, I am particularly grateful for your pioneering work in the South. With gratitude, Michael Adi from Global Faith and Justice Project, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Gail Cohen. And I can really relate to this one too. Being at the Lincoln Memorial with Mandy and standing at the spot where MLK Jr. gave his I Have a Dream speech will always be emblazoned in my soul. And you know, Mandy, I felt the same way, because when I saw you, I saw me. And that's how people feel about you. Reverend Keisha McKenzie, we're so grateful for your vision for justice for all in the South. The path you cut expanded opportunities for new generations practicing intersectional solidarity and grassroots organizing in their communities and states. before many people knew the word intersectional. And that's real. Someone just wrote 5 words for you, Mandy, and I'm going to sum it up and end it on that. Wakefield, you taught us how to create change. Thank you. We love you, Mandy.
Well, Sister Donna, I bring you, and thank you, by the way, and the folks who just gave me those compliments, huge thank, I know them all. So I'm saying hello, greetings from here in Durham, North Carolina, with a heartfelt thank you to the National Black Justice Coalition. In AARP, I am a member. And for today's Elder Wisdom Awards in T, on this National LGBTQ plus Elders Day. I'm humbled and honored to join my other awardees today, all of whom I already know, been working with them in the past, and look forward to working with them in the future as well. And I must say that I really appreciate the fact that the Wisdom Awards are named after the NBJC logo, which I have on my shirt right here, that really talks about the honoring of wisdom, ingenuity, patience, intelligence, and finding the best means to attain a goal. This year at 72, I get to celebrate my 54-year movement history of social, racial, and LGBT plus organizing since 1967 at the age of 19. And most recently, I actually got to join an organization as a member. It's called the National Council of Elders. We are 20th century organizers committed to the theory and practice of nonviolence to engage with organizers of the 21st century, which means for me and my ongoing organizers, and hopefully those of us in the elder community, are being proactive and intentional for our multi-generational organizing and creating change. I do want to just mark a couple observances to get the ball rolling. One of them has been this interesting notion about, I do believe, that the importance of how change can happen, which I think would be a combination of the changing of hearts and minds and the changing of public policy. Hearts and minds would include marches, sit-ins, rallies, nonviolent civil disobedience, dance, poetry, film, spoken word, and so on. But also the importance of the changing of public policy, which means voting does matter. The courts do matter. Having people to run for local, state, federal offices matters. Clean air, clean water. No one should be hungry. No one should be homeless. We all should have access to health care and an education. Food justice, language justice, and the list can go on. And finally, I would say in terms of and I'll be eager to hear our other awardees, for me, in terms of just where I am in my life and where we've been, for me, the 2 words that keeps me hopeful and keeps me fully engaged, and those words are resistance and resilience. And once again, I want to say thank you profoundly. And we have a great quote here in North Carolina. It's a great one. It's called "Forward together, not one step back." Forward together, not one step back. Thank you, the National Black Justice Coalition. Thank you, AARP. And let's get on with the rest of the folk that are going to be honored today. I am blessed and I am humbled. Thank you.
Thank you. We are blessed and humbled to be able to honor you, and are excited to show all of you the beautiful award that you're going to be receiving, along with some other surprises later in the program. So stay tuned. Thank you both. The next person that we are going to be awarding will be Reverend Dr. Bishop Yvette Flunder. And the person introducing her is going to be Reverend Carmarian Anderson Harvey. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about her. Notably, in so many ways, she has also been a trailblazer. She was the founder and former executive director of Black Trans Women Incorporated. She is currently the Alabama State Director within HRC's Project One America and is the first Black trans woman to serve in HRC's leadership. We are excited about the work that she has done around public health and education focused on HIV/AIDS and ending the epidemic. That is another theme you'll hear throughout all of our honorees today. Many of them have done incredibly powerful work over their lifetimes, helping to support people struggling and trying to survive and thrive with HIV/AIDS. Carmarian, as I noted in my initial remarks about her, is a reverend and currently serves as the National Co-Minister and South Region Coordinator for Trans Saints Ministry of TFAM, the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries. In addition to this role, she served for 15 years as an associate minister at the Living Faith Covenant Church in Dallas, Texas. We are incredibly thrilled to have you introduce Bishop Flunder and honored to be a witness to the incredible work that you have done in creating your own trail as a legend.
Thank you so much. It's Sunday. Oh, tell me who can stand before us when we call on that great name, Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, we have the victory. In my custom on Sundays, we used to say, I believe I'll testify why I have a chance, because I may not have that chance anymore. And so on today, I am honored to testify about a great woman in my life to this nation, none other than Bishop Yvette A. Flunder. Just a little bit about her for our audience, and I'm sure we all are aware, but she is the founder and the founding pastor of City of Refuge, United Church of Christ in 1991. She is a native of San Francisco. She's a third generation preacher with roots from the Church of God in Christ. Glory to God. That speaks to me. That speaks to my narrative. She is also she was licensed in the Church of God in Christ. And then she was later ordained by Bishop Walter Hawkins, rest his soul, of the Love Center Ministries. And she also serves as the associate pastor and administrator at the Oakland Love Center Church. Bishop Flunder is also an ordained minister of the United Church of Christ. She's a graduate of the Ministry Studies and Masters of Arts program at the Pacific School of Religion, Berkeley, California. She has a doctorate in ministry degree from San Francisco Theological Seminary. And as well, in 2013, what an honor, she was consecrated as presiding bishop of the Fellowship of Affirming Ministry, which is a multi-denominational fellowship, churches and ministries all over this world, including Mexico and Africa. In addition to all of that incredible pedigree that she carries with her, she's also a professional or anointed singer. In 1984, she performed and recorded with Walter Hawkins and the Family and the Love Center Choir among one of the top songs that we still sing today, Thank You, Lord. Outside of that, she's an adjunct professor and a trustee at the Pacific School of Religion in California. And I'm honored to say this, that she is an active voice for the Religion Council for the Human Rights Campaign. And I'll stop there and give some gratitude, because if it had not been for Bishop Flunder, as a Black woman of trans experience, during my time 25 years ago, when I was kicked out and when I was shut down and when I was buried and sent to hell, it took a Bishop Flunder who spoke into my life, who resurrected me to allow me to believe in myself that everything that God has made through me and upon me was made good, and that I must go out and do the work in order to encourage a dying world who has killed us and resurrect them. And that is what I learned. I walked through the doors of the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries back in 2004. I'm old now. I got grandbabies now. And Bishop Flunder has poured into me. She offered me my first national platform. And hence, today is the reason why I continue to make history, along, like Victoria said, with the Human Rights Campaign being the first POC trans experience in leadership of an organization of 40 years. Despite all of that, I used to send everybody to hell because that's what I came out of. But Bishop Flunder taught us how to take the gospel and actually deliver it in a liberation, radical, inclusive way. And I am so honored. I will not be Carmarian D. Anderson and now Harvey. And I heard you well last year, Mom. I can't hide my husband. And I'm honored because when I see myself in the mirror and when I'm doing this work, it's because of this Bishop, Yvette A. Flunder. There was a couple people, Bishop Flunder, that actually submitted some thoughts that I want to read to you. Now, there was a lot. I can't get to all of them. Praise God. So, saints, don't get mad at me. Let me just pull out a couple. Sister Bishop, what can I say? Thank you for blessing me, MCC, for overturning the tables, for healing, for preaching from your toes every time, for giving to our God, for never giving up, for truth that changes lives in history. Reverend Dr. Nancy Wilson. We also have one from Reverend Dr. William H. Knight. Bishop Flunder has always unfailingly offered her wisdom, strength, insight, and prayers for our community. She is a spiritual warrior who continues to stand in the forefront of the fight for equality, justice, and radical inclusion. She is a blessing. Reverend Cedric Harmon. Bishop Flunder is and will ever be a bright light in the constellation of justice seekers and peacemakers. Among her great gifts is the ability to reflect in her public witness the truth of community of people experience. She beseeches this nation and world to be more fair, more just, and more equitable because the spirit of the divine wills is to be so. Bishop Flunder, let me personally, for everyone that you have touched, particularly the trans-identified community, we will not be here in our spiritual journey if you did not speak to the nation and give us visibility. We are honored for you to be our leader. We're honored to call you mom. And most important, we're honored that we are connected to you. I often say that even though I was assigned male at birth, and I am this beautiful woman now, that I carry a piece of your rib of that anointing that you've poured into my life. And I'm so honored to be the one to present the NBJC and AARP award to you. God bless you and the many more years of this exciting work of social justice theology, as well as birthing what we call radical inclusive love.
My goodness. I'm going to have to pack you up and take you several places to introduce me. So I want to say thank you very, very much, Reverend Kamarian D. Anderson Harvey. And to my colleagues, and particularly I want to say to our sister Sharon Letman Hicks and all of those who are expressing appreciation today for this honor and recognition. It's a blessing to be a senior. It's a blessing. It's a living wonder to have lived to be in the category of seniors and seers and wisdom bearers and history and herstory. And so I feel real good to be in the company of those who are with us today. I want to express deep appreciation for being thought of by NBJC, for being recognized. I want to say to AARP, thank you for helping to make this possible. I am also a card-carrying member myself and my spouse. We will soon be 37 years together. Mother Shirley Miller, who I love and adore. We have been since we could be. In fact, I was hanging on when she qualified as part of her being a part of AARP, and now I'm a card-carrying member myself. I'm very grateful to see these things come together and to acknowledge those of us who are croning, who are older women, who are moving toward a certain time in life when some things are a little bit more challenging than they were earlier. But wisdom is something that only comes with time and experience. And so I'm glad to be in this number. And so I would say to all of those that have in some way contributed to making this possible, thank you very much for thinking of us. And in particular, I would say that as a faith leader, that the work of faith is very much needed in our present time in ways beyond anything that I've ever experienced in my life, because there is an incredible crisis of credibility out there right now. A lot of things that are being done in the name of God and good are filled with vitriol and racism and homophobia and transphobia and woman phobia and black phobia. There's so much that I could say. And in many ways, on the front line of this problem are people who consider themselves people of God, who name the name of Jesus, and several other ways in which they are using religion as an enemy and a battle axe against justice. And I am very concerned that the voices of people of faith are loud and are clear and are present, and that we find the strength and the courage of many of those who went before us, and be prepared to pay a price for what it is that we believe. And I'll end with this. One of the greatest experiences for me, reading the text that is a part of the Gospels in the New Testament, reading the text that tells the story of Jesus entering into the temple and finding many things problematic, i.e., people were doing a number of things that were stealing the money and livelihood from people who came to the temple to worship. There were others who put that worship in place and required that the sacrifices be purchased and made, essentially in the temple. Then there were others who came to the temple because they felt that if they came around folks who were spending money on sacrifices and such, that they could speak for and ask for alms or contributions or giving them money to survive and such. So there were a lot of different dynamics going on in places of faith, just like there are a lot of different dynamics going on now. But when Jesus saw the problem of people using people's illness and trouble and being disenfranchised as a way to get money for religion, he did something that I would like to speak into the hearts of anyone today who is a person of faith and spirit. He tied up his underwear and flipped over tables and slung doves and pigeons and lambs and coins in the air and said, essentially, you have made the house of God a den of thieves. I think it is time for us, those of us who are people of faith, to revision the marriage between faith and justice. Understand that those two should be kissing each other today. And also understand deeply and clearly that we have an obligation and a responsibility to do this work in the name of the divine by all of the divine's many names. Thank you for thinking of me, and I will continue to do the work. God bless.
God bless. God bless you both. Whew! You're about to have me shout up in here. My wife and child was going to have to come in and be like, oh, I thought you weren't doing church today. Did we get the wrong memo? Beautiful, powerful word and remarks. Thank you so much. I'm excited. We're going to go to a quick music break. DJ Liquid's going to get us in some groove as we get ready for the next segment to air. So feel free to refill your teacup. I've got my Howard University mug. So be sure to grab yours. You can take a selfie with your teacup, use the hashtag Wisdom Awards, and show folks what teacup you brought to the party while you listen to this music. Go ahead, take it away, DJ Liquid.
I'm swerving, we coasting. If love is the quotient, you can't divide us, subtract my devotion. You stand for the fight, then I don't really care who you label at night. But if the plumbing ain't working, how you laying the fight? And if you staying tonight, then we laying tonight. Go on! Lean with it, rock with it. Old school, hit it, do it, vibe with it. Bank head, bounce like a street knee. Thunderclap for the GC. Lord have mercy, put my thing down, baby, so you gotta work me. But don't jerk me. Better use it for your loses so you know it's working. Run away, Lord. Now you are home. Don't be afraid, jump in that way. Your heartbeat is constantly, forever and always a part of me. How you made the dog is the part for me. I don't ever want you apart from me. You say it's never right for you, maybe because there are no words in sight for you. I live and die for you, and I'm for not go blind for you. Love is blind. Mama say, mama side, mama, what's your side? I know that good thing is hard to find. Show me yours or show me mine. Woo. Mommy in the middle, we too high, it's too low, so we gotta start with it. We headed to the attic on the roof, beat it like a drum, go poof. Run away, Lord. Now you are home. Don't be afraid, jump in that way. Run away, Lord. Now you're home. Don't be afraid, jump in that way. You're home. You're home to me, baby. You're my home. You're home to me, darling. Make it funky for me. Make it funky for me. Make it funky for me. Summertime got me so high. I've been buzzing all day. Funky tunes, but DJ plays. Know how to take the stress away. Whoa, feeling so good. All I wanna do is groove, get up on the stage, feel the beat. Heart pumping strong. I can do this all day long. Need the sun and song. DJ make it hard. I know some of y'all busting the groove. Awesome. Welcome back. I'm glad you all were able to take that quick moment, get some tissues, wipe your eyes, grab your teacup, get your refill, anything that you needed. We're grateful and glad to be able to go into our next segment for our Wisdom Awards, where we've been honoring our legendary, iconic Black women elders, the women who, without their work, their passion, their heart, and Lord knows how much stress has helped to bring us to the moment we are in today, where you can have out artists and out pastors and out
activists and people being able to thrive and live more freely. Now, we know we have a lot more work to do, which is part of why it was really important for us to structure this particular award ceremony similarly to how we saw Oprah Winfrey do it with the Legends Ball. You all might remember in the early 2000s, Oprah Winfrey brought together all of the icons from the 60s and 70s, folks like Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight, so many other incredible singers and entertainers and media stars. And the people who also attended was what she called youngins, but to me, they were all icons and legends too. People like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and so many others. And so we wanted to be able to show how the baton continues to pass and be ran with. And the thing that I always like to remind people, it's not that our elders have passed the baton, because they're still running. And so one of the key things about when you're running a relay race is that the person who had the baton before you continues to run with you until you take that baton. And so each of the folks who've been introducing our honorees today are people who are part of the generation that followed, the generation that the honorees are a part of for the most part. They're people who have continued to run the race with them and also have begun to open doors for the generations that followed, like my own. So with that, I get to introduce someone who had literally opened doors for me in my career, and that and the person that she's honoring is Reverend Elder Darlene Garner. And the person introducing her is Stacy Long Simmons. Stacy and I first met when I was a student at Howard University. It's also around the time I met Donna and Donna Payne Hardy, who you all met earlier, and also Sharon Letman Hicks, who you'll hear from later in the program, who's our CEO and executive director. And it's also when, I don't know if she remembers, but it's also when I first met Darlene Garner. We were both serving on HRC's Diversity and Inclusion Council. I was the young person they brought in to represent the millennials. I had an afro at the time, was very green, just finished serving my term on Howard's Board of Trustees. And so it feels like a full circle moment, because although I might have just been one, person in a lifetime of people they've inspired and mentored, having the experience of meeting and getting to know them so early in my own career and life helped me to see who it is that helped and allowed me to see who it is that I wanted to be as an advocate and as an activist. You all allowed me to see what was possible, what the potential was, and that I had nothing to fear about being fiercely out, fiercely myself, fiercely Christian, fiercely Black, fiercely woman. So a little less about me and a lot more about Stacy, who most recently served as the National Policy Director at Planned Parenthood Federation of America. And before that was my boss lady, as I affectionately called her, at the National LGBTQ Task Force, the nation's oldest LGBTQ advocacy organization. For a long time, she was also the only openly Black queer woman lobbyist on the Hill, working to secure our rights and help to open the doors for so many other people to do the work of fighting to ensure that every piece of legislation that came through the Hill would have some intersectional thinking and forethought. Biden's most recent day one executive order, lifting up the reality that we all live multiple intersections of identities, came from Stacy Long Simmons trying to figure out how to incorporate Kimberly Crenshaw's legal theory into the actual law, and beginning planting of the seeds for that to be able to to take root in the way we thought about public policy when it comes to non-discrimination protections. And when I saw that executive order's language, I knew in my heart and in my mind that it had Stacey Long Simmons' fingerprint all over it. And not just situated to do work for the LGBTQ community and women's rights and reproductive rights. She also served as the director of advocacy at Bread for the City, an organization that does work to support low-income communities throughout Washington, D.C., to ensure that everyone in this country is able to go to sleep at night in a home and with food on their table. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Stacey Long Simmons to introduce our awardee, Reverend Elder Darlene Gardner.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Victoria, and congratulations to you, Reverend Elder Darlene Gardner. I feel so incredibly honored to be able to bestow this award to you. And I'm just very grateful to the National Black Justice Coalition for asking me to do so. I have been reflecting on the love and actions of you as an elder, understanding that your love and your actions endure not just for a lifetime, not just for a generation, but for a millennia. You are truly the gift that keeps on giving. Your words, your testimonies, your wisdom, it will be passed down from generation to generation. And like seeds that blow across an open field and take root in the earth and then sprout forth, they will carry your legacy. It is such an incredible honor to be in the presence of a woman who's achieved in her lifetime a breadth of accomplishments in Black LGBTQ, Black, LGBTQ, and faith spaces. Originally from the Midwest, Reverend Elder Garner grew up Baptist like me under the National Baptist Convention and spent some part of her faith walk in the Episcopal Church and eventually with the Metropolitan Community Church, where she became the first African-American elder in that denomination. She is a co-founder of the National Coalition of Black Lesbians and Gays, now known as NBJC. And in 2010, she and her lovely wife, Reverend Candy Holmes, were one of the first LGBTQ couples to be married in Washington, D.C. Reverend Elder Darlene Gardner is truly a testament to the beauty and perfection of the omnipotent higher power I know as God, and I am honored to share these flowers from those who pay tribute to you today. Reverend Elder Darlene Gardner, congratulations on this honor. You have been and continue to be a stateswoman for the LGBTQ movement and Black persons in particular for over 40 years. Your activism and ministry work have paved the way for so many. Thank you for all you have done. Reverend Candy Holmes. Darlene, what an honor and privilege to know you and have served with you. Bless you for your courage and impact on so many people and communities all over the globe. I'm so grateful for your friendship. Oh, the stories we can tell and even the ones we can't. Bless you, great grandmother of 10, mother, grandmother to many. You ain't done yet. Reverend Dr. Nancy Wilson. It is a great privilege and honor to extend our congratulations to you. I'll never forget your tireless giving to MCCR Houston over the years. Inspiring, blessed humanitarian. Thank you, Karen and Carla Baptiste Johnson. I need a little drink of water. Darlene, I am so grateful to know you. I was so moved to attend the ceremony honoring you at the last PAD conference. It showed just how far-reaching your influence is. Thank you for your groundbreaking ministry. Reverend Marie Alfred Harkey. All the journeys of my ministerial life have been impacted by the love, wisdom, compassion, and leadership of this spiritual visionary. When she was the only voice crying out for equality and inclusion in institutions that did not look like her, when it was her strength and her determination that kept the conversation about the roles of women in ministry from being ignored, when she stood proudly demanding her right to live in a committed marriage with the love of her life, when she tirelessly worked to craft a foundation for justice and fairness in the work of the church, when she embraced and supported those who would follow in her admittedly giant footsteps. In all these ways, she has proven herself to be not only a trailblazer, but a beacon of light and hope. She is richly deserving of whatever honor, appreciation we can give. I know that my life is blessed because of the Reverend Elder Darlene Garner. Reverend Dr. William H. Knight. For 20 years, I have called Darlene my elder. I have laughed and cried with her, and she has remained a constant and willing source of wisdom and guidance for me. Her passion for justice has touched every person fortunate enough to know her. No one is more deserving of this honor. Reverend Elder Ken Martin. Congratulations to my sister, Elder Darlene Garner. You have and continue to share your wisdom, passion, commitment, and energy to do so much on behalf of so many. Continue to be blessed and a blessing. Love, Carla. The very force of her voice and unyielding will in her spirit causes change to happen. Reverend Elder Garner lifts our community by her example of employing power for the good of humanity. Around the globe, her fingerprints are found on movements for fair treatment, loving response, faith that takes action, and wisdom in the moments of despair. She has taught me and countless others what it means to act strategically toward achieving your goal. Reverend Cedric A. Harmon. Thank you, Reverend Elder Garner, for your presence, spirituality, and boldness throughout your years of activism and ministry service. I am grateful that you administered the rite of ordination during my ordination service. I know you have touched the lives of many. This NBJC AARP Legendary Elders Wisdom Award is well-deserved. Well done, good and faithful servant. Reverend Onetta Brooks. Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Mexico, Brazil. Thank you for your trust in me. Love you to pieces, Pastor of Pastors. Dios te bendiga. Reverend Dr. Rosario Vargas. Congratulations, Stephanie Breaker. Words seem to escape me when I think of Reverend Elder Darlene Garner. As part of MCC, she has been a voice in the Black community within MCC when there wasn't one. I had the honor to work with her on several people of African descent conferences and was able to learn a great deal from her. I know in many ways she paved the way for many African Americans within MCC. For this, I will always be grateful. Her voice will continue to be a part of MCC due to the work she was able to accomplish. I will always be grateful for the way she has touched my life and been a part of my journey. Wanda Floyd. Thank you, Reverend Elder Darlene Garner, for walking paths and blazing trails so that others could find their way. Your faith and social justice work in the U.S. and around the world has been both life-giving and life-saving to countless numbers of people. I'm grateful for all the ways you and your beloved Reverend Candy Holmes makes a difference in the lives of others. With gratitude, Michael J. 80, Global Faith and Justice Project, Santa Fe, New Mexico. A friend when others look away. Reverend Harry Knox. Thank you, Elder Garner, for your steadfast leadership and unshakable commitment to justice, even in challenging moments. We honor you for your transformative healing work for Black LGBTQ people in the church and beyond through the MCC People of African Descent Conference. Reverend Keisha McKenzie. Forever grateful, Reverend Elder Garner. Michael Welch. So I have to say, after sharing those flowers with you, that we are living witnesses to the heart songs, sacrifices, and gifts you have touched our lives with through your loving spirit, your compassion, your activism, your ministry, and by being a leader who refuses to just talk the talk. You walk the walk, and it's clear to all who know you that your steps are ordered by the Lord. My heartfelt congratulations to you on this Elders Day recognition.
Thank you. Thank you, Stacy, for the introduction and for sharing those flowers with me. My heart is full. Thank you to AARP, of whom I'm a card-carrying member, and NBJC, who continues to carry the torch that was first lit by the National Coalition of Black Lesbians and Gays, NCBLG, back in 1978, when we wondered whether or not anyone other than those of us who founded that organization would find within them the courage to do what we knew needed to be done. And all these years later, I am just so grateful that NBJC is still carrying that torch, and that our doubts and fears were completely unfounded. It has been and continues to be a long life. I will celebrate my 73rd birthday in September. And in this time, when I was in my 20s and early 30s, I never, ever thought that I would be doing any of the things that I've done over the last 40 plus years. Being a pastor and a spiritual leader, a chaplain in an AIDS hospice, and now I'm preparing to become a death midwife, so that all people can have an opportunity to live and to die with dignity. And that has been living with dignity and respect has been the foundation of what for me has been my life's work. And to receive this Elders Wisdom Award, it just tickles my heart. It tickles my heart. One, I'm grateful to have come into my croning years, and to know that there are those whose life I have touched in some profound ways, and to know that I am still becoming all of who I was created to be. And that's exciting. And it is scary. And sometimes it's just plain exhausting. But that's too bad. That's just the way it is. I want to encourage everyone who is a witness to this occasion that you too will allow your personal passion to evolve into your life's purpose. That if you don't like the way things are right now, and certainly over the last 4 years, but even right now, find within you the courage to create the change that you want to see. Believe in yourself. Breathe into who you are becoming. A wise, powerful, spirit-filled manifestation of the presence of the divine justice maker. There's a big community waiting to embrace you as a peer, as a partner, as a justice maker. Welcome.
That was beautiful. Whew, preach on, preacher. Thank you so much, Pastor and Reverend Elder Darlene Garner. I'm going to carry those words with me after this program. I know when I watch the replay, I'll be able to finally take notes like I normally do when people speak, so that I can keep the affirmations for myself when days get hard. Thank you so much for speaking into all of our spirits. And Stacy, thank you for such a beautiful introduction. One of the things that I learned about you, Darlene, that I didn't know, I didn't realize, I did a lot of research on Howard's history for a report that I wrote called the Lavender Report. And one of the things that came up was the Third World Conference. And I learned in researching you that you chaired it. And so for our audience, I want people to have an understanding of this historical moment. The Third World Conference, Third World Gay and Lesbian Conference, let me say the title right, happened brilliantly alongside the very first March on Washington for gay and lesbians back in 1978, 79?
79.
79, thank you. And it was its own set of activities focused on LGBTQ people of color from around the world that came together because too often, as Keith Boykin used to say, that the gay rights movement excluded us and the Black civil rights movement avoided us. And that we need to have folks who are able to stand up and represent us. That to me seemed to be the spirit of that gathering, to bring people together and to show up in the same way that during women's suffrage, Black women and members of Delta Sigma Theta gathered to march behind the march to say, you might not be incorporating me, but you need to see me. You will see me. You will know we're here. You will know our power, and you will do the work that's necessary to ensure our liberation too. Because if you mean that you're doing work for the LGBTQ community, that means you need to include all of us. And I so appreciate your brilliance and wisdom and vision in curating that space and so many spaces you've curated since then.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. Now, our next honoree will be Miss Major Griffin Gracie. And she's going to be introduced by someone I've loved getting to know better over the last year. And that is Miss Dominique Morgan. Dominique is the executive director of Black and Pink, a national prison abolition organization that works to ensure that people who have been incarcerated have the support they need, policy changes, but ultimately full abolition of the criminal industrial complex. I've also learned recently that Dominique is a musician and has some music out there. So follow her on Twitter, get that link, listen to some of those jams. She's also a sex education advocate, a public health advocate, an NAACP Freedom Fighter Award recipient, and someone who ensures that all voices and perspectives are at the table. Hailing from Nebraska, is it Omaha, Nebraska
Yes,
that you're from? Okay, I wasn't 100% sure of the city. Hailing from Omaha, Nebraska, Dominique Morgan is going to be providing the tribute and introduction to the historic, trailblazing, Stonewall fighter, Miss Major Griffin Gracie.
Thank you, Victoria. I am going to do my very best not to cry this morning. As I beat this face, I said, "Girl, you're not beating this face to cry this face off." So I've willed myself through this. I am going to start off with some beautiful tributes that have been sent to you, Miss Major, from folks all over the world that wanted to offer love and appreciation for you. Miss Major Griffin Gracie quite simply inspires with every breath she takes. She is the shining example of what a life of purpose looks like. Activism is all about reimagining, actively engaging in issues that affect people's lives. And this is Miss Major, Reverend Cedric A. Harmon. Thank you, Mother Major, for pioneering and your ongoing work. Your work and friendship with my own mentor, Tracy Jada O'Brien, have rippled out to save my own life, guided us at Trans Lifeline. Your life and work at TGIJP is something I require students to study as a role model in my classes at the LGBTQ+ Leadership Program at the School of Continuing Studies at the University of the Redlands. Your wisdom and influence continues to guide our learning and ways of interacting as a community. Thank you so much, Donovan Ackley III, PhD. There are so many flowers that were sent your way, but as a Pisces, I cannot even emotionally deliver how much you mean to me. We have never been in the same space together, but I am a Black trans woman who was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, in the thick of whiteness and supremacy and harm, nearly 15 years navigating prison systems. And there was a day that I recognized that there were people just like me who were so powerful, who were so incredible, who had shifted the world in ways that I couldn't even imagine. And it allowed me to find a space where I could look to who I could become. I've been the executive director of Black and Pink National for the last 3 years. And there are times that I wonder, what would Miss Major do? When we launched Lighten House here in Omaha, Nebraska, anyone who walks in the Lighten House now will see a very large pillow with your face on it and a pillow with Marsha P. Johnson's face. And so these girls over the last year who have been in all steps of their life, every time they walk in the house, I get to explain to them who you are and how powerful you are. And we get to have nights where we can watch your documentary and these 19 and 20-year-old kids can recognize that they are not the first and they are not the only ones. And they come from greatness and wonderment and power. And I think it's important to recognize that we are doing this work where you don't always see the outcome of what the world is asking you to put into it. How
we're expected to sacrifice our time, sometimes our joy, sometimes our own goals and desires because we feel we're called to something higher. And I'm just so thankful that you've always answered the call. I cannot imagine how many times you've put your own needs to the side for others. I can't understand or begin to quantify how many dreams you have deferred of your own for the dreams of our larger community. And I am thankful to say that I hope that I'm a representation for all the work you've done, a piece of it. I would not be here if it wasn't for you. And that is not a singular story by any means. And I know buildings and street signs and awards are wonderful, but there are human beings who are better because of your existence. And I don't know anything more powerful than that. We look to you for guidance and light. We are thankful for everything you've given us. And I look forward to the day when I can hug you in person and say all these things to your face, and you can tell me to stop crying, like everybody is probably texting me and telling me to do right now to stop crying. And I want to thank you for also showing me, a 39-year-old Black trans woman, that my life is now just starting. To watch you over the last year, I think it's important to celebrate people for their work, but I also want to celebrate you for that beautiful child in your arms and for the family that you've built, that we can be more than our work. Our work is powerful and it's wonderful. But I believe legacy is about what you build throughout everything, and you're still building, and we're still watching, and we're still benefiting, and you are still trailblazing. And because of that, we are going to award you this morning. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And for everyone who couldn't be here this morning to say thank you, I say thank you for them, and congratulations.
We're going to try to get Ms. Major's technical issue resolved for a minute. So Dominique, I'm going to ask you to come back into the large frame so that we can try to make sure we're all sorted.
I'm gonna read a few more of these flowers that were sent in while we get some technical stuff worked on. Thank you, Miss Major, for speaking truth to power and calling all of us to live into our authentic selves, genders, and sexualities. You are inspiring, living definition of a pioneer. Our equality movement is possible because of you. With gratitude, Michael J. 80, Global Faith and Justice Project, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Miss Major, we love you. Thank you for your commitment to Black people, and especially to Black trans and queer people for all of these years. Whether in the spotlight and backstage, we've been able to count on you to speak the truth and to center joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Reverend Keisha McKenzie. Forever grateful for everything you've done, Miss Griffin Gracie, Michael Welch. Mother, father, sister, shero, champion, advocate, shit stir, and best friend, from Tracy Jada O'Brien. Where we at, y'all? We want everyone to hear you, Mother. That's important.
We think it might be because you're still in the Zoom, so we're going to get you removed from the Zoom room, Miss Major, so that your audio isn't split between two platforms. So please just continue to try to announce. We all see your, there we go, we've got you now.
Okay, can you hear me now? Well, I am thankful for the NBJC, and thank you, AARP. I have a card. I am a member, and it is unbelievable that you remembered me and paid attention to the work that I was doing, because you know, what can I say? It's been hard, but it's been easy, And Dominique, thank you so much for your introduction and the way you feel. Honey, I will get to you as soon as I can. Once if it leaves, I'll come there. You know, you are doing wonderful work, marvelous things to to add to the work that I'm doing. So please, tears are always welcome. Those are tears of joy, you know. And this baby here is a testament to I'm still going to fight for it. It's not easy doing this. It's not easy handling this. But we must fight on. We must continue the work. It's not easy yet. And thank you again, and to the AARP and NBJC. And how you doing? What?
Thank you very much, Miss Major Griffin Gracie. What a beautiful child. Congratulations. And thank you, Dominique, for your words.
Yeah.
Very precious. I saw, so I think it was David Johns, our fearless leader of NBJC, mention your smile, Miss Major. Your smile lights up a room. Let me tell you. And you're still seeing more congratulations come through on the screen. So the next awardee that we have is going to be Dr. Beverly Guy Sheftall, and Miss Sharon Letman Hicks is the person who's going to be introducing her. Let me tell you a little bit about our CEO and board chair. Miss Letman Hicks, as I alluded to earlier, has been a long time mentor, shero, friend, everything. And I can't imagine where I would be without some of the advice she's given me throughout the years. And it feels like a 360 experience, having been an emerging leader with her to now be serving as the Deputy Executive Director. Thanks to her is how I also met Dr. Beverly Guy Sheftall. There was an incredible project that she led at Spelman, looking at LGBTQ campus inclusion at HBCUs. And her summit and research happened around the same time I was doing similar research as a part of my undergraduate thesis at Howard. And I just remember thinking to myself, wow, these two women are allies and accomplices and fierce sisters in the movement, carrying the water to ensure my community lived freer lives and included. And I'm about to choke up a little bit. Anyway, I've been holding it together. I'm trying to keep it keep it together. I don't know that I know I haven't said this to Dr. Guy Sheftall because I'm awful at staying in touch with people. And I don't think I've said this to Sharon either. But meeting the two of you at a time in my life where there were not many straight, cisgender, Black women who wrapped their arms around our community in that way meant so much to me. Especially when, she's better now, but my own mother and other women in my life weren't always there. And the two of you showed me the potential that others could get there, that others have been there, and that true sisterhood, true partnership, and true work alongside community members in the Black community could happen more than lip service. And I am so deeply, from the depths of my spirit, grateful for the light that you shone on my life. I was able to stand with my shoulders a little bit taller because of the light that you both shone in my life at that time. And when I had other mentors who I still love dearly, who were telling me, girl, you need to keep that to yourself. Why you holding your girlfriend's hands across the yard? Y'all, don't do all that. You too bright. You got too much of a future ahead of you. Don't do that. Having your voices counterbalance that was everything. And I know I'm not alone. I know there are hundreds, probably thousands of women and other people across this country and probably world who feel the exact same way as I do. Y'all have been lighthouses for so many of us. So a little bit more about Sharon. Sharon, as I mentioned, is the Chief Executive Officer and Board Chair of the National Black Justice Coalition. She's also the former Executive Director of our organization. In addition to that, she served as the Vice President at People for the American Way, where in true Sharon fashion, she was building leadership development programs for progressive leaders all across the country, many who have now run for governor, are in public office, helped to build an entire network alongside Andrew Gillum under her leadership of progressive elected officials. And so many other programs, including the Frontline Leadership Academy that I was a part of. Another thing about Mrs. Letman Hicks that I learned that I didn't know until within the last year was that she was an executive director in her early 20s. So sis been leading her whole career, been leading her whole career. And has then taken those lessons to help mentor and prepare so many of the rest of us for leadership. Both of you are lifters and builders of leaders, as so many of the other honorees are as well. And I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to honor you for the work you didn't and don't have to do, but chose to do. With that, I am going to turn it over to Mrs. Sharon Letman Hicks.
Thank you, Victoria. That was very gracious of you. We are all so extremely blessed for these amazing honorees that we have today and the pathway that they cleared for many of us. So without further ado, Dr. Beverly Guy Sheftall is the founding director of the Women's Research and Resource Center and the Anna Julia Cooper Professor of Women's Studies at Spelman College. Previously, she served as a visiting professor at Emory University's Institute for Women's Studies, where she taught graduate courses in women's studies. One of her unique attributes is that at the age of 16, she entered Spelman College with an overwhelming love for English as a focus of her studies. She went on to attend Wellesley College for a 5th year of study in English, and in 1968, she entered Alabama University to pursue a master's degree in English. A year later, she began her first teaching job in the Department of English at Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama. And in 1971, she returned to her alma mater, Spelman College, and joined the English department. Dr. Beverly Guy Sheftall has a PhD in American Studies from Emory University and served as the first Black president of the National Women's Studies Association. I say all of that just to lay a foundation for us to fully understand the depth of this dynamic women's credentials and the path that she chose to take to lead us to where she is today. In April 2011, 10 years ago, I had my first experience and the privilege to see Dr. Guy Sheftall at work when she curated the Audre Lorde HBCU Summit, which set the path for much of the work that NBJC does now in the HBCU space. One of NBJC's founders that you heard from earlier, Donna Payne Hardy, and I had the honor to participate as panelists at this summit, where we strategized on how to make this a central focus for NBJC going forward. The summit was themed facilitating campus climates of pluralism, inclusivity, and progressive change at HBCUs. Again, this was 10 years ago. The Women's Research and Resource Center at Spelman College hosted this historic summit as a part of an Arcus Foundation funded project that examined issues of institutional climate, gender, and sexual politics at HBCUs. The summit was a culminating activity of a 3-year advocacy project that engaged 11 HBCUs on the particular experiences of LGBTQ students, faculty, and staff in an attempt to facilitate institutional change that acknowledged, valued, and respected differences. Their target audience included HBCU administrators, faculty, staff, and students, and partner institutions and other parties of interest whose social justice work related to LGBTQ issues. This Black Woman Legendary Elders Wisdom Award is a 10-year celebration of that work, Dr. Sheftall. Prior to her summit, Dr. Guy Sheftall led the Audre Lorde Lesbian Feminist Project, also with the support of the Arcus Foundation 15 years ago in 2006. The Audre Lorde papers have been processed and are now available for students and scholars in the Spelman College Archives, a component of the Women's Research and Resource Center. Dr. Sheftall has made this a central part of her life work. And the overall goal of that project was to increase awareness and understanding about African-American gay and lesbian experiences, as well as sexuality issues in the African diaspora. And this initiative, led by Dr. Guy Sheftall, was committed to facilitating climates of institutional change at HBCUs that acknowledge, value, and respect differences. I say all of this because the Black LGBTQ plus same gender loving community is central to the Black community and the Black experience. Historically, Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, are a central breeding ground for how Black people are advanced in this country. Dr. Guy Sheftall teaches that daily. She understood the road she was blazing. She understood the importance of educating at the intersection. She walks the talk as a sister in the movement. I am so blessed to have her as a mentor and as a friend. We cherish the role that we get to play in this movement for full equality and full equity on behalf of all Black lives. Select flowers that have been sent in on your behalf, Dr. Guy Sheftall, come from Michael J. Adi at Global Faith and Justice Project in Santa Fe, New Mexico, who said, "Thank you, Dr. Beverly Guy Sheftall, for your leadership and service within and through Spelman College. I am grateful for your transformative teaching, research, and advocacy for safe spaces for LGBTQ plus people within HBCUs with gratitude." Also, another brother, Reverend Cedric Harmon, wrote, "The scholarship and wisdom of Dr. Beverly Guy Sheftall has raised consciousness and awareness enormously. A Black feminist trailblazer, Dr. Guy Sheftall educates not only her students, but society. We better understand the gifts, graces, and genius of Black women as a result of this great thinker, writer, and talent among us. And last but certainly not least, our good friend and brother, Dr. Juan Battle. You know how much I love you and respect you, Dr. Guy Sheftall. I'm just thrilled that now an even larger audience can join the chorus of praise. Dr. Sheftall, you know how I feel about you. You are my other mother, my auntie, my big sister. And I know from day one when Donna Payne Hardy and I said, look, we just got to get into space. We just got to breathe her air, breathe her oxygen to figure out our path forward, because the lane of advocacy and academia don't always intersect strategically. You gave us the tools and the credentials and the credibility with your academic prowess and commitment to the Black queer experience, and lent your voice and your time and your goodness as you helped the National Black Justice Coalition create our footprint in the space of HBCUs advancing on behalf of the Black LGBTQ plus same gender loving community. I thank you. I love you. I celebrate you. Our work is not done together. We know this. And I am so honored to have the opportunity to present you to our community and to honor you with your flowers that are more than overdue and continue to be due on behalf of our community. God bless you.
Oh my goodness. Whew. So let me start by thanking you first, Victoria, and thanking you for that lavender report that we used with our ARCAS project. And the next time I'm in DC, I think you're still there, I want to come and hug you. Sharon, let me just say this. That is the best introduction I have ever heard. And I also want to give you a little confession. When I got the email from NBJC, I thought you all were asking me to be a moderator for today. I was stunned when I kept reading and you all asked me to be an awardee. So I just want to just say thank you very much. I also think I speak for my sister comrade awardees when I say that this love fest, this true love fest, and I don't think I've ever been at a love fest like this, has been overwhelming, moving, informative, and emotional. And I think all of us who are witnessing this and who are being awarded will remember the words, the tears, the smiles forever. Forever. One of the most joyful aspects of my professional career, and I want to echo some of my comrades, I will celebrate my 75th birthday on June 1st. And so I've been at this for 50 plus years. But one of the most important aspects of my professional career, personally and institutionally, is the teaching, the research, and the advocacy that I chose to do. And Sharon, you will appreciate this because you're a Florida A&M graduate, and Victoria, you are Howard, is the work that I chose to do at HBCUs, particularly the Atlanta University Center, which includes Spelman, Morehouse, and Clark Atlanta. And in that regard, the most important work that I chose to do was making Spelman College not just a safe space for LGBTQ people, but a loving, embracing space for LGBTQ people. And by that, I mean, we didn't just want to say you all are present or included. We wanted to center the work of the Women's Center in this broad human rights terrain, and to make it very, very clear that our curriculum, our policies, and everything we do acknowledges the value and dignity of LGBTQ people, particularly at HBCUs. And those of you who know HBCUs know that this is a big challenge, or was a big challenge. I want to end by bringing Audre Lorde into the room. And Sharon, you have already brought her into the room. When you enter the Women's Center space at Spelman College, it is Audre Lorde that you see. And if I had time, I would read a quote from her, and maybe before we end, I will. And I want to bring two other people into the room. And I think Mandy Carter will appreciate this. I want to bring another ally, accomplice into the room, Coretta Scott King, who was the most passionate advocate of Black LGBTQ issues in the civil rights struggle. And she worked with Mandy Carter as well. And I want to finally end by bringing my mother into the room, Ernestine Varnado Guy. She is the person who, when I was a little girl and my two sisters, emphasized how important it is to value all human beings. And this is the 40s and the 50s. And when people would make snide remarks about dykes and sissies, my mother would speak out against homophobia. She might not have known that term, and she might not have known the term heterosexism, but she made it very clear to us that all human beings were valuable. And so I didn't grow up having to unlearn homophobia. So I just want to end by saying thank you very much. I am overwhelmed. I even have tears, which I rarely have for people of you who know me. And I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you both. Beautiful, beautiful words. And we are grateful to be able to have the opportunity to honor you. And it means a lot to us that NBJC, and I'm sure AARP as well, that this Love Fest has been received as what we intended. We want you all to feel as loved on as possible from a virtual space. You know, if it was in person, we'd get to shower you with hugs and, you know, all sorts of things. But stay tuned, because after the break, we will be showering you all with a lot of beautiful things. So for folks who are at home watching, everyone, this is another great moment to fill up your teacup with whatever you want to be in it. And when we come back, we will have a toast and some special surprises.
Say what, say what, say what? Girl, you know what's up. Say what, say what, say what. Girl, you know what's up. Say what, say what, say what.
Getting back to your feet and continuing to jam. A quick reminder, I'm trying to talk on beat. Failing visibly at it. A quick reminder, trying to talk on beat. There's an echo going on. A quick reminder, trying to talk on beat. All right. Think you've got that echo taken care of. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, this is so beautiful. Y'all stopped me in my tracks. I couldn't even continue talking. Look at yourselves. Oh my God. So brilliant and beautiful. Whew. Welcome back, everyone. We are excited to continue honoring our legendary, iconic Black women elders who are receiving wisdom awards today. I want to remind folks a couple things before we continue. One, that if you are on social media and want to tweet, whether it's your favorite thoughts, additional reflections, and flowers to give to our honorees, or if you want to take a picture of yourself with your teacup, all of that is cool. Use the hashtag Wisdom Awards, so that we can all follow along and see, track the conversation. Also, if you haven't already, please put in the chat, either on YouTube or on Facebook, the song that most reminds you of fierce, incredible, iconic Black women, because we are curating a Spotify playlist to be able to, we're curating a Spotify playlist that everyone will be able to go back and visit and listen to however often you want to, and get that inspiration you need in the morning or throughout the day when it comes to Black women. Black women magic. There we go. So with those two housekeeping notes in play, I am going to move us to the moment you've all been waiting for. The moment where you will all get a chance to see the award that is coming your way. Tom, this beautiful commissioned piece of art honors the inaugural Wisdom Award celebration. It was created by Howard alum Rebecca D. Crouch, and each of you will be receiving this to your home.
Wow.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Y'all are too much.
Put it up again. Put it up again.
Yes.
Thank you.
My. Thank you so much.
Beautiful, gorgeous, huge. Thank you.
Beautiful. They captured your hair, Mother Major.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
Nice. Thank you, Rebecca.
Very talented artist. Definitely folks who love the work, please check it out. I love the piece. I think it came out great. But we wanted to be able to have something special. We didn't want to just give you the same old trophy. I know many of you have a bajillion of them.
Boxes.
Yeah, that's the word, boxes, right? Like after a while, what you gonna do with them? They pile up.
That's right.
We wanted to do something special, meaningful, and unique. We know that there will never be a piece like it. It is a one-of-a-kind award and piece of art that honors each of you and how much gratitude we have for you. The Black LGBTQ movement started out as a movement between movements, a movement created to address what was missing in the other movements we were a part of. And in the process, you all created a unique movement and space where we all could be ourselves, thrive, and survive. And to that, and for that, we are incredibly honored and have incredible gratitude. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to our fabulous CEO, Sharon Letman Hicks, who has an additional surprise for you all.
Good afternoon. This has been such a blessing to our soul, to the times, to the spirit, to be able to honor our amazing, amazing legendary elders. I want to first acknowledge all my love and respect and the mentorship that I received from each and every one of you. From Sister Mandy Carter to the Right Reverend Dr. Bishop Yvette Flunder, to Reverend Elder Darlene Garner, to beautiful, fabulous Miss Major. I remember sitting at your knees, and Dr. Beverly Guy Sheftall. I have truly been blessed over the last decade plus of my life to have you women in my life in the most significant ways, and that's in the manner of motherism and mentorship. And each of you, I will never forget Bishop Flunder saying, "Sweetie, if you want anything from me, you got to come speak to my congregation." And brought me in her bosom and, had me in there for 3+ hours if you're going to go to Bishop Church, right? And ever since then, it has been such a blessing the many, many times I've had the opportunity to be in her space, to breathe her air, and to be amongst her wisdom. Mandy is my sister, auntie, mother from many, 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 many times, and have always given me the kind of support, wisdom, directives, clear understandings as to what she expected. And Mother Major, my God, I remember the first time I had the opportunity to sit with you and just hold your hand and just and feel your presence and your wisdom. I never forget those moments. Can never forget those moments. And Reverend Elder Darlene Gardner, speaking with such authority, has invited me into her space. I remember that conference that I was able to come and be a part of, and you and my sister Candy Holmes, you all lent your profile, your marriage, your spirit to our organization on countless times, just to have the opportunity to be amongst our elders like this and to have continued support with sisters like Dr. Beverly Guy Sheftall in my life. I want you to know, Cassandra, I am a card carrying member of AARP at the age of 52. So when it came in the mail at 50, I was like, I've been waiting on this, but I'm a little nervous. But I went ahead and I'm financially a card carrying member of AARP. So for you all to be a partner sponsor for our organization that I know for the rest of my life that I'm taking care of, I know the wind at my back on top of these 5 ladies, to have an institution like AARP understand the importance of Black women leadership, understand the importance of recognizing the Black woman of all areas of our society, particularly at the intersection of the LGBTQ plus same gender loving community. We are truly blessed and honored to have you as a strategic partner and a partner that honors our elders in the way that you have given us the tools and resources to do today. So one of the additional blessings on top of that amazing work of art that we again continue to lift up Black women's talents and Black women's contribution to society, I had the good fortune to step down early in my career and make space for the next generation. So in partnership with our new leadership at the National Black Justice Coalition, David J. Johns is our executive director, and Victoria Kirby York, our newest member, as our deputy executive director. I am following the wisdom that all of you put into me, and to make sure that I'm readying the next generation to continue to lead and to continue to represent in the most effective way. And with our humble desire to make sure that while we also give you your flowers and we honor you with beautiful commissioned representation, that we also honor the times that we're in. So we saw it not robbery to extend a small token of love to each of you, and each of you will be receiving a gift of love of $1,000 apiece from the National Black Justice Coalition on behalf of our board and our staff. In the coming days, we will be emailing you tomorrow the instructions, and then we will be getting it out ASAP so you can continue to celebrate and smell the roses and all the flowers that you all are due, with a small token of love as a down payment on the long overdue vacation that we are all in need of after 2020, still rolling into 2021. So God bless you. We are humbled that you gave up your afternoon with us, and we just wanted to continue the love fest that we just getting started, ladies. We just getting started. So I will turn it back over to our illustrious mistress of ceremony and our distinguished leadership in Victoria and David.
Thank you very much. Now, I know everyone at home has been making sure their teacup, coffee cup, whatever you call it, is nice and ready. Gonna pass the mic on to our fearless leader, our executive director, David J. Johns, who's going to send us out with a beautiful toast honoring each and every one of you.
I want to first manage expectations and be clear that I will do my best to come close to that which has happened before. And I want to name that I am going to follow in the space that's been created by Sister Coretta Scott King and Dr. Guy Sheffeld's mama, and name that I show up now as an ally and accomplice, as an unapologetic member of the Mama's Boys Club, as someone who, as a Black male feminist, is both humbled and excited by the opportunity to have been loved on and mentored by and supported by each of you individually. And I also have accepted, I continue to accept the responsibility to lead important parts of the work through our work at NBJC, work that's been seeded by things that each of you have done. And so in the spirit of our Aunt Maya Angelou, I hope that you all hear my heart and how you all have made me feel on today when I say thank you. I also want to say thank you to Victoria Kirby York, to the staff at NBJC, and to our partners AARP for making this possible. I'm often in awe of all that you accomplish on behalf of our community, and want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to our comrades, Donna Payne Hardy, Reverend Carmarian Anderson, Donna Payne Hardy, and Carmarian Anderson Harvey, Stacy Long Simmons, and Dominique Morgan, as well as Sharon Lemon Hicks, who I love in a special way. I'm super thankful for all of the work that you do in your individual capacities. We will be honoring you soon. And I also just want to say thank you to each of the honorees. I want to celebrate that you individually have made space for Black girls and their beautiful diversity to show up, for Black boys and for non-binary members of our community to know that we are beautiful and wonderfully made just as we are. I want to say thank you, Donna Payne, for teaching us how to create change, including by remaining committed to resistance and resilience. I want to say thank you to you, Bishop Flunder, for reminding us that God is love and that we can re-envision the marriage between faith and justice in ways that ensure that we can all be free. I want to say thank you to you, Reverend Elder Darlene Gardner, for demonstrating that if we do this right and stay committed to the place where our purpose meets our passion, then we get multiple opportunities to ensure that we can all live with dignity. I am excited to continue to become who I am intended to be, and I thank you for illuminating the pathway to becoming who it is that I will be. Miss Major, thank you for starting shit for good, for your fearless and fierce advocacy. Thank you for taking up space for trans folks even before the term existed, and for reminding members of all communities that it is members of our community, Black, trans, non-binary, lesbian, queer, same-gender loving folks who often live on the front lines of efforts to ensure that we can all be free. Thank you for that, which you do for our community and for our country. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Guy Sheftal, thank you for teaching the babies. Educators do God's work, and I am especially thankful that you have leveraged your time, talent, and treasures to shift institutions, in particular our HBCUs, to ensure that they are not just tolerant, but they are embracing of and supportive of our babies who didn't ask to be born and deserve to be supported just as they are. And in closing, I want to say that my prayer is that you each know, as a result of this and other opportunities that we have to give you your flowers, that we, as a community of Black, LGBTQIA+, same-gender loving folks, that we as a community of Black people more generally, and that our country are better because of each of you. And so we say thank you for that which you have done. We say thank you for providing us with opportunities to do that which we will do. And we say thank you in particular for showing up today and for showing out. Let's all have a sip of our tea in honor of each of you. This would not be an NBJC event if we did not have a call to action as a federal public policy organization focused on civil rights. One way that each of you who are tuned in virtually now or who will see this later can extend the legacy of each of our honorees, as well as those who honor them, is to ensure the passage of the Equality Act. The sad reality is that most Americans, not us on this call, think that each of us have rights and privileges that we do not have under federal existing law. And so calling the US Senator who is responsible for leading on your behalf and ensuring that they will support the passage of the Equality Act is one way that you can give everyone who deserves them their flowers. And then I also want to mention, in the effort to ensure that the joy we felt in this safe space is protected, tomorrow NBJC is proud to launch the Lavender Book. The Lavender Book is our response to ensuring that our community has the ability to identify safe spaces, public accommodations, businesses, and other places where we show up that have demonstrated that they are competent and compassionate in leading in all of the ways that our honorees have described. So I encourage you all to visit nbjc.org tomorrow and learn more about the Lavender Book. And there you can also find more information about the Equality Act, which again is a way to give all of our honorees their flowers. I'm gonna get out of this space as the only boy in it. And just again want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I love, respect, and admire each of you dearly.
Hi, and I am I want to echo everything that David said, but I have to say that I am so inspired, so moved, so motivated, and filled with a little bit more courage as I move forward and do the work that I do at AARP. And I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention that, on our Black community study, LGBTQ community study, we also partnered with HRC on this work, and we are working really hard to continue to build strategic partnerships, continue to, share the narrative, the true narrative of Black LGBTQ folks. And so, again, I thank you all. My call to action is just basically to let you guys know we are here. I'm a lesbian woman. AARP is an ally in the LGBTQ community, but continue to reach out to us. We've got plenty of research, and there are plenty of opportunities to volunteer with AARP. We have 53 state offices, one in Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, and of course, DC. And we need your voice. We need you. For our advocacy work, for our engagement, because of course, if we're not showing up in the community, if people don't have people that look like them that show up in the community, then, they don't know what we do. So definitely, come out, volunteer, plenty of opportunities. And, we're still in the midst of this COVID pandemic. And right now, one of the strategic priorities for AARP is looking at Black and Brown communities, LGBTQ communities, and figuring out what does COVID recovery look like for us. So again, I'm so thankful, I'm honored, and I thank you, David and Sharon and Victoria and all of the honorees.
Thank you again, AARP, and to you specifically for believing in our work and continuing to be a partner. I know when we talked, we were both very clear that we would not be one and done with this. There are many who have passed, who should have been honored before they passed for their legacy and life's work. And there are many others who are still with us who could have been honored at this one, and we'll be able to honor them in future opportunities. So stay tuned for more ways to plug into that future work. We also want to make sure we have some time to honor our brothers and non-binary siblings as well, who also paved the way for us. So again, stay tuned to at NBJC on the Move on all of our various social platforms, nbjc.org, to stay engaged. And also, if in hearing the call to action from David, you want to do some work around the Equality Act, you can go to equalitytime.org. There are phone banks and other activities happening all throughout the week, and a week of action that you'll learn more about later in June for Pride Month. With that, I want to give two special thank yous to folks who you cannot see, but have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. The first is our event producer, Tom Cunningham. Tom has been with us for many, many years, a brother ally, accomplice, brother in the movement, who's done incredible work on behalf of NBJC and so many other organizations. Thank you. This event would not have been possible without your stewardship, your leadership, your support, and your troubleshooting. Being able to pull this virtual event together. And I also want to thank one of our interns, Christian Taylor, who's been holding down our green Zoom room and ensuring that the guests that you don't see on the screen are still being well taken care of as we continue to move throughout the event. Thank you all for your time. You can continue to send your love through the comments on YouTube, on Facebook. If you want to post your love through Twitter or Instagram, use hashtag Wisdom Awards. There we go. We want to make sure that our awardees are able to continue to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to share this broadcast. If you loved it, share it far and wide. We want to make sure that everybody knows the work of these honorees. So share far and wide. Their names should be on everybody's lips. Far too often, our elders and people who do work in the Black LGBTQ movement are rendered invisible. You hear about the icons in the Black civil rights movement. You hear about the icons that are, largely white ones in the LGBT rights movement. But far too often, those of us holding down the movement in the middle are erased, silenced, ignored, and not celebrated. So share it. We hope that this is the impetus for more celebrations for each of you, that news publications tuning in have learned something about you and will be helping to spread the word about how amazing your careers and lives have been. And that just as we have monuments to others who have passed, as we talk about Bayard Rustin and Polly Murray and Audre Lorde, I want your names to be on everybody's lips. I want everybody's lips to have Miss Major, Mandy Carter, Dr. Beverly Guy Shefdaw, Bishop Flunder, Reverend Elder Darlene Garner. Your names should be included in that number. And will be with all of you all's support in sharing this program and sharing what you learned. With that, we say thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for celebrating National LGBTQ Honors Day with us. Oh, and giant shout out also to our DJ Liquid, who's about to close us down with some more beautiful music. Take it away.
Hey. 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 My heart's running away with you. Do you know how it feels to be moving? When you dance, when you play your groove. So do you, just do you. My heart's running away with you. Do you know how it feels to be moving? When you dance, when you play your groove. So do you, just do you. Be yourself, always do you. Be yourself, always be you. And be yourself, do your thing, be you.